Welcome everyone to the Incredicast Podcast. We are back after a long off season. We're here to kick off the 2018 season for the NASCAR Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. And first of all,
confusing. I know.
It's confusing, very confusing.
Welcome to 2018.
Yeah. So, had a long off season, and now we're here to make podcasts for everyone once again. So first off, we're going to talk about the changes that we've made to this podcast.
Yeah, so it's now season 1. It's not season 0, and that means that we are established in some way, shape, or form. So we are going to try to do things officially. Yes, I know. It shocked me too. We're going to try and keep it between 25 overall to half an hour long. Trying to have like an official podcast time, try it with a date, try all that, and just really try and be consistent. And because last season 0, we had some podcasts on Friday because of school, really, right? But yeah, we had Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So, but yeah, season 1, we're coming up strong, trying to be consistent.
Yeah, because like last year we had like one video would be like 9 minutes long, the next one would be like 30 to 40. So we wanted some consistency for how long each episode is. And speaking of consistency, we have an official schedule.
Oh my!
So yeah, we're going to go along with each NASCAR race, of course. But there are some podcasts that are not related to any sort of race. So like the preseason podcast, we have a kickoff recap podcast, then a halftime show, and then we have something that's called Before the Storm, which is basically making our choices and picks for the 2018 playoffs. So that's going to be exciting.
Sure will.
Yeah. But then in NASCAR news, we have a lot of new exciting things to really talk about.
Yeah, well, you got a lot of teams that have a lot of changes. I know, really interesting. I'm so happy to be on Incredicast. But no, the first team that we're gonna go in and look at is the team that almost won it last year, the Joe Gibbs Racing team. Came close, sadly for them. The 18 car could not pass Truex at Homestead. So for Joe Gibbs Racing, you got Matt Kenseth. He will be retiring, or I should say he already did retire. So he's at home. Hopefully Matt Kenseth, he can watch this podcast now. And so the young boy, Jones boy, he will now be in the 2-0 car at Joe Gibbs Racing, sponsored by Circle K and DeWalt. And really for Joe Gibbs Racing, that team, it really is the same, right? Just swap out Kenseth,
Yeah.
Still got Hamlin, Busch.
Yeah.
Boys.
You just got Kenseth sitting at home on his computer with his headphones in. He's listening to this podcast right now. That's the only changes.
Wisconsin, Packer strong, right? Green Bay.
Yep.
Yeah. So what is a team out there that had some changes this year, Adam?
Well, there were some. Teams like Penske just has like a Joe Gibbs change. Blaney to the 12 car for next year. He has a bright yellow paint scheme for that car.
Adding a third car though.
Yeah.
For Penske. So.
But then you have teams like Team Hendrick, who has major driver changes. We have like Bowman. He will take over for the retired Dale Earnhardt Jr. So he will take over the 88. And then for the 24 and now the 9, you'll have Byron in the 24 and Chase Elliott in the 9. And then, of course, you still have Jimmy Johnson in the 48. And also for changes for Hendrick, we have a new body for them, which is the Camaro. So
Yeah, which I can't wait to see that.
so do you think the Camaro will be fast as soon as possible, or do you think it'll take some time to see some speed?
It probably will be fast early on. I can see it being good for ratings. I can see it being good early on for Chevrolet to really try and come out swinging, because last year, aside from that one car from Ganassi, the 42, aside from them, Chevrolet really had almost a piss poor year, right?
Yeah.
Like Ford Ford came out a lot better than 2016, and Toyota, you know, was just so far ahead. So Chevrolet, I believe that Chevrolet is gonna try everything, show their hand early on, and just you know swing for the fences. And speaking of Ford, last year, we have Stuart Haas Racing and their changes. They have Eric Almirola, who is now in the 10 car, and they have some crew chief changes. The, the 10 car is going to have John Lossmeyer, and the 41 of Kurt Busch is going to have a new crew chief. As we know, Tony Gibson, he decided to stay home more and stay in the Charlotte area more. And so he's going to have the 10 car's old crew chief, a man by the name of Billy Scott. So, yes, we have some changes around the sport. And then you got, like, Petty going to Chevrolet, and Bubba Wallace is going to be in that car. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Bubba Wallace can do for this year. To see if the Chevy changes helps that team too.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Then,
so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, then we have Danica Patrick. She's just doing one race this year for NASCAR, and then one race for IndyCar. She's going to run in the 500 for Premium Motorsports in the 7 car, sponsored by GoDaddy. So it's just like the good old days of Danica Patrick Racing. So it will be her final race this year at the Daytona 500. So it should be interesting to watch.
Dang. Well, the saying, old habits die hard. So
Yeah.
And what's crazy is that her first car that she ever ran in the stock car, it was the number 7 car in the then named Nationwide Series. And the sponsor of that car was GoDaddy. So old habits die very hard with a big thud.
And we have some new changes for the Cup Series schedule this year. More specifically, the playoffs. We have Richmond is now a playoff race. And also Las Vegas, I think it was.
Wow.
And Phoenix Raceway is now known as ISM Raceway, so if anyone's confused about that.
Me.
Also, there's been a change. Chicagoland is now the first race after Sonoma. It was Daytona. Now it's Chicagoland. So that's your before July 4th race. It used to be Daytona. So, but then after that, we have the Daytona race. I really don't know why they made that change, but they did.
I couldn't see that as well. No.
It's like Daytona was supposed to have been like the Coke Zero July 4th race, But oh well.
It still is in a way, because Chicago is on the 1st of July, and then the Coke 0400 is now on the 7th.
Yeah.
So I guess only a few days afterwards, it still doesn't make sense to make that change, because you know.
If it was up to us,
We need to change it. Change everything quick.
Yeah.
The
we don't do this. NASCAR does. We are sorry.
I've apologized for years,
Yeah.
already. But yeah, probably the largest change to NASCAR this year overall is the Charlotte race in the fall, in the playoffs. A third time. I'm gonna say it just so you know. In the playoffs, we're going to have a new type of track, a roval.
A roval.
What is a roval?
Well, a roval is a
Red roval.
a roval. The dictionary definition of roval is road course / oval. Yeah, it's weird, but NASCAR decided to change that. I'm thinking it's going to be exciting. Who knows? But it's like half of the track they'll be running on the oval, half of it they'll be in the infield, and they took out some turns of that track to make it faster, which also takes out some passing opportunities. So
Wow.
I have no clue how this race will go. Hopefully it will be exciting because we're doing a podcast about it. So
Yeah. Well,
So now the playoffs, they go in rounds of 3, I believe, and then Homestead. So it will go from Las Vegas, Richmond, Charlotte will be the eliminator race this year.
That's the elimination race?
Yes.
I can't wait.
Then it will be Dover, Dega, Kansas, and then Martinsville, Texas, ISM Raceway, aka Phoenix.
Say Phoenix.
Phoenix. That's what it is.
Beetlejuice.
But before the playoffs, we now have Indianapolis as the last race of the regular season.
Wow.
There are so many changes in this.
I don't see the point of having the Brickyard as the last race before the playoffs.
Well, it's like fans have complained about that race being so boring. What do they respond with? Oh, let's make it the exciting last race before the playoffs.
Yeah. I could see that. It's not a solution. It's a NASCAR solution. And they are actually changing that track and the cars that race on that track. They are adding a restrictor plate. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's a great way.
I don't know how I feel about that too. But
like I said, we don't make the rules. We just talk about them. Which I don't necessarily know how I feel about the changes like Vegas in the playoffs, because it wasn't really an exciting race last year. Vegas.
yeah.
I mean, New Hampshire wasn't either, but then again, Las Vegas I think was even worse. So I don't see why they would make that choice. But Richmond, that might be exciting.
Yeah, it could be. What if they added a road course in the playoffs?
We don't need a road course. We have a roval.
Why do we only have two, actual road courses though in NASCAR, and the largest, most popular sport on this continent? We only have two tracks. We've got a whole lot of tracks on this continent. We've got Montreal in Canada. We've got Willow Springs in Nevada, I want to say, somewhere out west. We've got Road America.
Yeah.
We've got all these great tracks, and we only have two?
And the Xfinity Series go to road courses more than...
I know.
It's crazy. Why would they do that? It's like the Xfinity Series is supposed to build you up to NASCAR. It seems like, or to the Cup Series. So it seems like it would be flipped, but no.
No, it's not.
You do all that training in the Xfinity Series for road courses just to go to 2.
Well, yes, is all I can say. However, either way, in 1 week and a few days from now, we have the Clash, the Advanced Auto Parts Clash at Daytona. And so, it's going to be hard to choose one when there's a lot of drivers who aren't even in the race and new season. But either way, Adam, who are you going to pick to win the Advanced Auto Parts Clash at Daytona?
Okay, well, I'll give you a chance to catch your breath after.
It's been a long week with school. It's been a long week.
Yeah. Me personally,
it's Thursday. It's not even over. So.
But me personally, I think a Ford will win it. And like you said, it's hard to really pick who's going to win Daytona in any sense, even if it was a road course. Oh gosh, I gave them ideas.
Had the Rolex. We have the Rolex, and that's good.
But I think
that's enough.
I think Joey Logano is going to win the Clash. He's going to go back to back, in my opinion. He had a bad season last year.
Life.
He won a race, but NASCAR deemed it illegal for some reason, and so.
What's the official term?
Today's word of the day is encumbered. So who do you think will win the Clash?
Well, I see where you're coming from, as the Fords have been incredible. That's our official term. At Daytona and Talladega, the FR9 engine has been tearing it up since 2009. I see a Ford that can win. However, I'm going to go with the new Camaros just because they're new and they're shiny. No, because every time we see a new car in NASCAR, they always try and promote it off and on the track. And so I see a Chevrolet trying to, work with a pair of other Chevys or whatever. I see probably Omen taking it. I know it's a shocker.
Well, Bowman is really capable. I mean, he finished third in it last year, so.
Yeah. So I can see him win it. Any one of the Hendrick cars, they really have a good shot of doing it. I wouldn't say anyone who drives for that organization is a horrible driver. They all have some talent in one way or another, but yeah.
Which is funny because like last year we would make these choices in our picks, and it's like I would pick Harvick, you would pick like somebody else, like Chase Elliott or somebody, and then like they would lead the 2 stages, and
yeah, exactly.
And then a Toyota would come by and just win the race.
Like stage 1 Chevy, stage 2 Ford, and then the last stage, the actual race, is Toyota. Homestead too, that happened.
But this time you don't.
First stage was bad.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, look out for the 22, look out for the 88, and then you can come back to this podcast the week after and tell us we were wrong, Or
you don't have to look out for the 88. You really don't. But yes, however, our next podcast is not going to be that one. It's going to be the Super Bowl 52 podcast from the land of the cold, the air, and the people, Minnesota, Minneapolis. So that podcast on Super Bowl 52 is going to come sometime next week. We're still trying to be organized and official.
Yeah,
Please forgive us. But yes,
we're still trying to find an official week or official day to upload things that we can consistently do. But right now we're going to experiment around with that. But yes, look out for the Incredicast Super Bowl podcast. Who will be the main team that we'll be talking about? Will it be the Eagles or will it be the Patriots? Find out next week on the Incredicast Podcast.
Will it be the Vikings? Who knows?
The
The home
Vikings.
team could come out and just play the game.
A third team comes out. What's happening?
Yeah, I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah.
Keenum and Teddy. But yes.
And I believe that's all we have. So have a nice week. We'll see you at the Super Bowl podcast.